celebrating Independence Day, Juneteenth. Learn more right after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg.
Doc,
How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
Well, I know the topic of today's show is something that you are not only passionate about, but you're directly involved with.
Correct.
So I guess it's true with all of our shows to some degree, but especially this one. You're the man in charge.
No, but it is. It's one of those. You know, Juneteenth is one of those celebrations that we really don't celebrate. And to me, Juneteenth represent really the good and the bad of America, meaning that on 4th of July, we'll celebrate Independence Day as a nation. But we fail to realize that in 1774, a lot of us citizens now were not free then. You know, slavery was still in full effect in 1774. And so it's always been, you know, a bittersweet day for me. You know, how do I feel about my country? How does my country feel about me? And the fact that most people don't even know about Juneteenth speaks about the growth that we still have to accomplish, that we still have a ways to go, because until we really fully know and appreciate Juneteenth as a nation, I think we're still somewhat in denial. So yeah, this is one of those shows that I'm very excited about.
Well, I know we'll learn more during the show, but we'll also get to talk about a production that's coming up, and we'll have two guests. One of our favorite guests, Ms. Samuel, will be here.
I think she's been on the show more than anybody.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And she'll be joined by Patricia Carson, and they'll talk about the production. So a lot of information, a lot of important information. I think it'll be a great show today. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We are thrilled to have with us today Ms. Willie Mae Samuel and Patricia Carson. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for the invite.
How many times have?
I think maybe 8.
8?
And you know, I say that jokingly, but that to me that really represents that you are consistent, that you are every year working. And I'm gonna take this time to say this. I thank you for taking time every year to make sure you keep history, all of American history, on the forefront. Because sometimes, you know, we kind of get comfortable in our accomplishments.
Thank you.
And we tend to forget that, you know, we didn't just get here. It was a process in getting here, and we're not there yet. And so there's a process that must be continued till we all true have equality. And so personally, thank you for being so committed to this cause, because I know there are some who always, why we got to talk about that? Well, as long as the prison rate for African American men is triple of their white male counterpart, we got to talk about it.
Got to talk about it.
As long as the graduation rate or the dropout rate rate for African Americans is double than their white counterparts. So we got to talk about
Let's
it.
talk about
so
it.
thank you for being consistent and committed to not letting this issue be brushed under the rug. Thank you. Anyway,
And
now
I
I'm going.
appreciate you and Mr. Hershey giving us the opportunity to do so, because y'all could say, no, we don't have a slot open for this year, for this month, for this whatever. And we appreciate the two of you for doing
Well,
that.
we don't have many people that put up with us as much as you have been willing to. So, maybe a good place to start would be to talk about what Juneteenth is for those that don't understand it historically.
Well, as Mr. Shropshire said, in 1863, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, it released only a certain segment of the country from being slaves. And of course, we all celebrate and say, 1863, January 1st. That's when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and that is when we all got our freedom. Not so, of course, we can check back and see. But there was a particular segment in the Texas area, because Galveston and that area was located in a strategic area, and so many of those did not get their freedom. They didn't know that freedom was here. There were other states who sent their slaves to that area to keep them there until this controversy was over, so they could get their slaves and take them on back to their states. So it was like a place to harbor slaves and to keep them enslaved. We don't know why they didn't find out. There were several theories as to one was that somebody caught the man that was supposed to take the word there and did something to him. Someone said, that the masters just made sure that the mail did not get through. Many theories as to why they didn't know, but they did not know. And so Colonel Granger was sent in 1865 with 2,000 troops. He was sent in to that area to announce to them with Article Number 3 that all slaves in that area are to be set free, and they are free. And so it was done June 19th, 1865. And that's why we call it Juneteenth, because of the date that it was done and the freedom that they received.
Well, talk a little bit about this production, because I know that you have had a number of productions that have revisited the stage, but they're never exactly the same. They're always a little different, a little new. So what is what's happening this time?
Okay, this one is different in that we did it in 2006 by the urgent and encouraging of my son and brother here. We did it with adults, and it's been 8-9 years ago that we did that. So what in thinking we thought we were just talking, and he said, well, the young people have never seen it. They don't even know what the celebration is about. They don't even know what the Kings and Queens are all about. So we decided then we would do the Kings and Queens, but we were going to do the younger children. Let them represent those kings and queens. It's going to be on a lower level. I've reduced the lines, like the adults might have had 10, 15 lines, whereas the little children, we'll give them 4 or 5 lines. But yet they're going to play out that role and pull in the main part of what they were going to say about themselves, so that the audience will know who they were and what they represented. So we're doing it with children this time. And it's still going to be with the pomp and circumstance. It's still going to be with all the glamour. And you see how my dear sister is dressed here. They're going to be dressed in all the costumes that we can come up with to put on the little ones, that they might represent the king or the queen that they will be portraying.
And just on a historical note, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I don't know who did it, Time or Fortune, the richest men in the world, historically. And they concluded that Mansa Musa was the richest man ever in history. And he is one of the kings of Africa, that one of those people we don't know about. Right. But Time or Fortune, I think it was Fortune, came out and said he was the richest man in history. Even today, if they calculated for inflation or whatever, his wealth was greater than Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of them combined. Right. And I mean, to know that, but then not to know that. is
And
a
they said
travesty.
he went through giving money away, and he gave money away so much so that it threw the economy off.
Yeah. It messed up other countries' economy because he spent so much.
Yeah.
But to know that and then not to know it, you know, I think is why it's so important for these productions.
Right, Manu Moose.
So, Ms. Carson,
Yes.
what is your role in the production?
My role is going to be assisting in makeup and costume. I'm actually, since the children are actually going to be doing the main, I'm going to be assisting another young lady named Alexander Bale with makeup and costumes. So I'm excited about that. So.
Well, working with children is wonderful, but also challenging.
Yes, it is.
So I'm sure that this is going to be those things as well for you. How do you research something like this?
Oh, the costumes
Yeah.
and well, you know, it's so easy now.
Yeah.
But when we did it, in whatever year I did it, I did the
2006?
first at Eastern High School in '92, the first time.
When you were
And-
3 years old?
No,
How is
yeah, I
that
was three.
possible?
So, and what I did, just did research. I mean, that time, I'm talking about research. We had to go in the books and read and write, and then I wrote them up. And as a matter of fact, I think I still have some handwritten, written copies here from handwritten. You know,
In 1992.
90, well, before 92, I had to
92,
do it prior to 92. We did it. We did the performance in 92. So, and then from there, after I, wrote that up, then I had to convert them to actual sounding like a person is speaking, as opposed to just that hard fact from the book. So I did the narration in that manner, and then. So yeah, it took a lot of research to do that. But now, for instance, we just took the phone. We went to the computer and made pictures of some of the outfits, which I'm going to give to her so that she will know a little bit more about how to do the outfits. But it was rough back then. I think it's going to be a little bit easier now for outfits.
How big of a cast are we talking about this time?
We're doing 12 young ladies and 12 young men as kings and queens, and then we're going to open it with an African dance, and we don't care how many little ones are in there
Right.
doing the African dance. We usually open it with a song, welcome them to the village, but I was telling her earlier, we're looking for something that might be a little bit different, but if not, we'll just do a welcome to the village African dance that's sung in Swahili.
Large. It'd be a large cast.
Well, usually it's pretty large. So I'm thinking, and I don't know if, let's see, the production is what, the 22nd.
Second.
So at this point, I don't know if you've cast it on the day that we're recording this. So
We have casted some, but not all. These are young children that will be taken apart.
So I was just wondering what the age range.
Okay, that's what I
roughly would
sent
be.
the announcement. I said I wanted children between 4 and 24. 4 and 24. Those that are 4 to 8 will be in the dance routine. Those that are 8 and older will be in the kings and queens part. So.
Well, it sounds.
Challenging but rewarding. Afterwards, it's very rewarding. I mean, it's going to be challenging, but But I'm going to tell you the power of. I remember the first year that the Kings and Queens of the Nile was done. And there was a young man in high school, and he wasn't the greatest student. And I remember him after the production, after the curtain closed, and how he was so empowered by being on that stage and reciting his lines. And Miss Samuel had to work with him. I think she even shortened his some, but he was so empowered by being on that stage and being, and just being able to, to do this, and that just, that just stuck with me. That here this young man was able to find people clapping for him and cheering for him, and a lot of times our children don't find that outside of sports. And so for these productions, it gives children who may not be the star of the football or the basketball team, or may not be the star of this, it opens it up for children that's may not be into athletics. They may be, but they may not be. But this is open to all children, and it gives them an opportunity to be appreciated for something other than sports.
And that's the main thing we want, is we want our children to appreciate themselves, who they are, their little talent. So, we have these words from these kings and queens, but we're hoping that through these lines, their personalities will show, who they are will show. And Cody, he's speaking of Cody, he's still up there with his I won't say ego, but whatever. It lifted him. And so, I'm ready, he says. He is still saying it. We're talking about 9 years ago. He's still saying, I'm ready again. When is the next show? I'm ready. So that's what we're hoping to do. We want to make sure that our children appreciate themselves, love themselves, and that's the purpose of it all.
Well, we're coming up on a break. When we come back, we'll talk a lot more about this production and really the legacy that's being left by these productions, which is pretty significant. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for a new pet that your family will cherish every day, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are the best places to find a new pet. That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals, eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet, so bring home your new buddy today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation with Willie Mae Samuel, and we've been joined by Tika Lewis of the African American Connection of the Performing Arts, and talking about the 9th annual Juneteenth production.
But before we go here, now this is unique. I don't know if, I'm not going to say it's the first time, but this year this production is being produced by the Connection, the 100 Black Men in Roanoke First Georgia, and the Martin Luther King Commission. I know we've all helped in some of the other, but I don't know that we've all officially said, okay, we're doing this together as one play. I know we've all helped in the background.
Right. No, this is the first time that we've had a threesome. We call it a threesome.
So is that, I guess, working together can be challenging sometimes too, but this seems like a natural.
It is. One thing that I know, some of the presidents of some of the other African American organizations, collaboration. In order for us to do more and to do good work, we have to collaborate more. It may seem natural, it may seem very like a symbiotic relationship, but sometimes it's challenging, because other groups are doing other things. But I think one thing that Ms. Samuel, one in particular, and the production, we're all tied to it somewhere or another, either through our children, our church, or through our organization. And we was able to all get on one accord this year and say, we believe in this program, we believe in the message, and let's put our weight behind it to fully support it. So I'm very proud that the 100 and the King Commission are working together with the Connection to make this happen this year.
And what we're hoping is to get together, and as Mr. Shropshire had said earlier, to outline specific responsibilities for each group to take on. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what we are in the process of doing now, that each group will know, well, this is what we're responsible for. This is the part that we will pick up. And we had 3 people lifting a project, or lifting a program, or collaborating. It makes it so much easier and smoother to carry out.
And Ms. Lewis,
yes.
What is your piece?
My role, I think in this production I will wear many hats. Definitely behind the scenes, but whatever needs to be done such that this play and or production can be one of success, I'm just on board to do what needs to be done.
Well, actually that was an unfair question, because when you anybody working with Ms. Samuel when you say what is your role, you're asking like, okay, what is your role on this show? I'm the co-host. Well, in the production, it's not that simple. Your role tomorrow may be very different from your role today. enroll next week, and the date of the event.
This is true.
Maybe wait a minute, I've done this but now you, and that's one of the beautiful things about the production. I think working with the production is that you really have to have a mindset, of kind of openness, because it's a fluid thing. It changes.
That is so true.
And so when you ask somebody with the production, what is your role? Everybody always kind of get that look like.
Because she's already been helping to get characters. As a matter of fact, she's bringing her 2 daughters in that's going to help. She's got a son who's going to be Shaka Zulu, and he's already excited about being Shaka Zulu. And she's got to get her get the outfits and things. So her role is manyfold, and you're correct, because what happened, we had a play last year, and we had one character that got sick. Other words, you have to just come out of that role. Come out of that. We've got to put this one on the show. It's got to go.
That's right.
And that's why it's good to come to the rehearsal, because I just might say, come on, you need to do this part because this character is not here. So she'll be playing many roles, and everybody on there will be. And I do myself, play many roles, except I don't role play. I do have some people who are directors, and they can act and they can direct. I don't do both.
Well, you've got enough on your hands.
Yeah, I think so.
Indeed, she does.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just. You gave the example of the young man who had been lifted up by being in a production, and I'm just wondering, after some years of Willie Mae Samuel productions, if how much these plays have kind of worked their way into whole generations of families. And I'm sure there are quite a few families that have been involved on many levels.
That is so true. We had a little gathering. We usually have gatherings after the production because so many feelings are hurt and people's toes are stepped on and they were pulled out of this and put over here and they don't understand and they're confused. We get it done. So afterwards we always have a cast gathering that we can share our hurts, our bruises, and our laughter and our joy. And so Monday, I don't know what, for some reason, I guess we're getting prepared, we had a gathering Monday. And it was a joyful gathering of some of the hurts of the past that they are now able to laugh about in terms of what we do with the production. So,
if I may,
sure.
In an effort to understand exactly who Miss Samuel is in each of these productions, I find that when I log into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or when persons log into such sites, and you see ad nauseum, happy 4th of July, happy Memorial Day, happy Veterans Day, but people genuinely don't understand precisely what it is that we're celebrating. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you experience Samuel Productions, it gives us clear insight as to, wow, so this is how it came about. So when you look at generations of persons, I think her tutelage has created such a platform for so many people to say, I remember that. Well, I learned this through, as we were at her house, we were watching one of the plays, and just to see the smiles of the people in the room, everyone was so pleased with their own performance, with the performance of others. It was awesome just to see everybody come together as one, and it was nice. But to understand who she is as a woman, first of all, and then to understand who she is as a leader, as a teacher, it will make you appreciate. So each production, I just embrace this empowerment.
And when we talk about that, Tika, one of the things at the heart of the connection from the beginning was, at the end of the day, it's not about entertainment. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the auditorium can be filled, but if people don't leave with a better understanding of what Juneteenth is and the importance of Juneteenth, then the show is a failure. And that's how the performing arts, the connection, looks at it. At the end of the day, our job is to use the arts as a form of teaching. Yes. How do we teach our history in a interactive way through the arts? And I have to say that when you start talking to people, it is amazing some of the lines that people can remember when they was in high school. It's like you still remember those, and but I think that's the testament to. But the teaching part is, it's not just entertainment.
That's right.
And I've seen plenty of people come to rehearsals, wanting to be a star, but before they leave, they get it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about you. You know,
Right.
you want to look good and all this, but at the end of the day, it's about this character that is so important.
Absolutely.
Because this character has been used, in which in most mediums that's true. We teach through mediums, but in the art and the connection is that's at the foundation that it has to be about educating our community.
That's it.
About our history, not just entertaining
That's it.
people.
But it is entertaining.
It is, and I think that's what makes it even great. It's the fact that you are learning historical information.
That's right.
And you enjoy learning it. And I guess, as a former teacher, you as a teacher as well, if we could teach like that all the time, in an entertaining way. But it is so entertaining, but it is so educational at the same time. I think that's the legacy
That's the
that
legacy.
will be remembered, is that, you really learned a lot through these productions.
That is the legacy, because as I read over some of the names of the queens, jokingly, I was like, I can't pronounce these names, And then after I sat pensive for just a moment, and it was like Cleopatra. All my life I've heard Cleopatra. Just learned today, and I say this all the time, every moment is a teaching moment. Just learned today that there were 7 Cleopatras. That was so profound for me, because what it did, I'm an avid reader. I enjoy reading, and when I can get lost in a book, that's when I know it's a great read. But when I lose myself, or as I lost myself, just in the list of the names of the kings and then the queens, my heart smiled. I was filled with such joy, because I'm excited about what's to come. And I think, in essence, as I was sharing with Ms. Samuel, if we can get the parents excited, if we can get the community excited, because although this is a passion for me, it's a passion for Ms. Samuel, I understand this isn't going to be a passion for everybody, but it's all about planting the seed. If you plant the first seed and then just watch it grow, it's powerful, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Well, there have been a lot of seeds planted for quite a few years, but this production, we want to make sure folks know when it is and where it is. So 22nd.
22nd, 4 o'clock is going to be at
Which is
Rome.
a Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
At the City Auditorium.
Correct.
And they're not really ticket prices, they're donations.
Donations. They could give us more than 10. But
you would not argue.
I would not. Would not give it back.
So recommended donation $10 for adults and $5 for
youth.
For youth.
6 and under don't pay anything.
And that would be at the door?
No, we have tickets that we'll start selling as of today.
And we're coming up on another break. When we come back, we'll give you that information again and some contact information. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Yeah. Welcome back to Community Watch. The 9th annual Juneteenth production will be Sunday, June 22nd at 4 p.m., Rome City Auditorium. Tickets are available from members of the Connection, the 100 Black Men of Rome, Northwest Georgia, and the MLK Connection. Almost everyone in town will have tickets if you're interested. So make sure you attend. I want to thank our guests today, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Community Watch.